Welcome, everyone, to this fantastic event celebrating the art of fashion. I'm Stephanie Martin, and on behalf of Andrew and myself, we'd like to extend a warm welcome to historic Graham Chapel and Washington University. My co-host, Susan Sherman, and I are truly delighted to have you all here for this year's Speaking of Fashion event featuring Wes Gordon and St. Louis's own Derek Blasberg. We're thrilled to recognize the ongoing partnership between WashU and the St. Louis Fashion Fund with this annual speaker series. We're fortunate to work alongside founder Susan Sherman, new executive director Becky Damian. Much gratitude goes to our presenting partner Caleres and all the patrons who supported this special day. Remarkably, today's event sold out in an astonishing 16 minutes. A true testament to the excitement surrounding fashion in our city and an incredible tribute to both Wes and Derek. We're privileged to have you all here today celebrating the timeless artistry and enduring legacy of fashion. Fashion roots run deep not only in the St. Louis region but also here at WashU. Just last year, our very own fashion design program in the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts celebrated its 95th anniversary. For those attending their first WashU event, we hope you will take this opportunity to learn more about our vibrant community and the many events we host and sponsor in St. Louis as part of our mission to be a place of impact, education, and enrichment for the entire region. And now I'd like to turn the program over to my sister in hairstyle.
Yes.
Co-founder and board chair of the St. Louis Fashion Fund, Susan Sherman.
Thank you, Stephanie. I think Stephanie also deserves a round of applause because she matches the flowers, and we're both wearing Carolina Herrera, and I want to thank Stephanie and Chancellor Andrew Martin for all their support. My dearest friends at Caleres, we were founded in 2014 and honestly would not be the nonprofit we are today with their tremendous support. Kelly and Holly and the crew sitting in the 5th or 6th pew. We moved you up this year, guys, because they gave us more money. No, I'm just kidding. We also have an incredible special guest tonight. She flew in just to be with her dear friends, Wes Gordon and Derek Blasberg and me and the St. Louis Fashion Fund. And that's St. Louis's very own supermodel, superwoman, super coder, super entrepreneur, Karlie Kloss. Karlie, can you stand? It means so much to have you here. We love you. And our second important guest is none other than the mayor of St. Louis, our wonderful mayor, Kara Spencer. So let's please give her a round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to be part of tonight's program to celebrate our vibrant fashion community and to welcome the appearance of Carolina Herrera creative director Wes Gordon on his first but certainly not his last visit to the city of St. Louis. I'd also like to recognize the St. Louis Fashion Fund for continuing to help our city grow as an innovation hub, attracting and retaining creators and companies we never imagined would be here. The Fund's annual Speaking of Fashion speaker series, in partnership with Caleres and Washington University, offers a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for community and proof positive of the Fund's mission to make St. Louis a fashion epicenter once again. The city, in recognition of this event here tonight, has issued a proclamation, and I'd like to share with you just a few highlights of it. Whereas the city of St. Louis is proud to welcome American fashion designer and creative director of Carolina Herrera, Wes Gordon, as he addresses St. Louis area fashion students, aspiring designers, and the community at large about his illustrious career. And whereas his incredible fashion journey as Carolina Herrera's global strategist for the incredible fashion label can only be matched by his inspirational work and philanthropic causes that foster the next generation of talent, such as the launch of Empowering Women in the Arts program. And whereas Gordon's work to heighten fashion awareness with his modern, elegant designs inspires women to find their confidence and feel unforgettable no matter what they are wearing. Now, I have a special little surprise in that this proclamation recognizes today, November 18th, 2025, officially as Wes Gordon Day here in the city of St. Louis.
Okay, we ready, everybody, to welcome two of my favorite people in the whole world besides all of you. Wes Gordon, the creative director of Carolina Herrera, and Derek Lasberg. Come on out, guys.
Hi, everyone. The proclamation was supposed to be a surprise, but he's so nosy. Backstage, he read it, so act surprised. Act surprised now. Yeah, it's on a easel and everything. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a very hospitable welcome to St. Louis. It's Wes's first time here.
It's my first time, but not my last time.
I think it's on.
Is it on? Okay.
So thank you for coming, and hopefully we'll be a little bit more chatty today than we were this morning. Wes and I flew together at 6 a.m., but we did not say.
No, we did. We had airplane morning rules, where even though you know the person next to you, you pretend like you don't. So we both adhered to that code.
But now we're not. Now we're going to
now
act
we know
very
each other. Now we're
friendly,
good,
like
yeah.
we are good friends. Anyway, thank you for being here. This is your first time to St. Louis. I know you had lunch with some students today. What are your first impressions?
So this is my first day here, and it was a very busy day. And I'll tell you, my impression was just how unbelievably nice everybody is. The people are amazing and so hospitable and so welcoming. It's been a really beautiful day, and working with the students was, I hope they got one or two things that were useful to them out of what I said, but I really left the beneficiary of my time spent with them. They were so inspiring.
Well, thank you for coming. We're going to be quick. We're going to hop into it. Wes, I sort of see your life in 3 acts so
Okay.
far. Hopefully there'll be many more acts. But the first one was growing up as a fashion kid and going to Central St. Martin's in London. You had your own brand, and then you joined the team at Carolina Herrera. So we can sort of zoom through this, and you can give us some words of wisdom on each chapter.
Okay, deal.
So we'll start at the beginning. I was told that growing up, you insisted on wearing red suspenders and blue suede shoes, very Elvis Presley of you, to school every day.
In kindergarten.
In kindergarten.
Yeah.
We started young. When did you know you wanted to work in fashion? How did your family support you? And just tell me a little bit about Little Wes.
Little Wes. Little Wes was the little boy who played with his mom's old Barbies and who would go into her closet in the morning and tell her what she had to wear that day, and who picked out his outfit and would have a tantrum if he couldn't wear his red suspenders to kindergarten. And I loved fashion before I even knew what fashion was. And, Derek and I are both dads, and Karlie, we all have a 4-year-old. And the best advice parents give to other parents is your child's going to come out who they are, and it's your job to not get in their way and just to help them become that person. And I was really lucky to have amazing parents who supported me throughout. I went to a fairly conservative school, so I kind of kept this double secret, one of, being different and gay, and then also wanting to be a fashion designer when everyone else, I think, wanted to be like a baseball player. So I spent, it wasn't until high school that I worked up the courage to find a local dressmaker to teach me pattern making.
We're in Atlanta, right?
We're in Atlanta. I've lived in Chicago, Minneapolis, and Atlanta, which is convenient when I do trunk shows, because then I can claim a lot of places as my hometown. I started building a portfolio to apply to this school called Central St. Martin's in London, which I'd never visited. I only knew it because I read about it in biographies of designers I admired, and I became fixated on it. Like, to me, I had to go to this school. And again, my parents are amazing, and they let me do that. And I studied there for 4 years.
Before we get to college, I once heard a rumor that you got a perfect score on your SATs.
That's a kind of like rumor that my dad would say. I think I got a very good score, but like it's like every decade it like rounds up a little bit in his telling.
So not perfect.
Not perfect.
But I'm happy to spread that rumor with your father if you'd like. Well, we decided yes, it is true. And then you end up in Central St. Martin's, which is one of the most prestigious UK-based fashion schools.
It's a wacky school.
Yes.
It's the polar opposite of a traditional conservative private school from Atlanta, Georgia. So I went there, kind of a very straight-laced American kid, to this school where it's all about letting your freak flag fly. Like, my graduation collection was made out of blown glass. Like, you do weird, crazy things. And I wanted that because I think I knew that I would always come back home to New York.
When you were at school, was there a moment when you realized I want to do this for a living, or obviously you thought about that before you got there, but oftentimes people go to school and their dreams change.
I was drawing women in dresses before I even knew that that was a thing. Like, I was just doing it. So once I realized that was a job, and it was thanks to an old coffee table book of Valentino that I found, I knew that that was the job I had to have.
When did you intern? You were an intern for both Oscar de la Renta and Tom Ford.
Yep.
When you were at Central St. Martin's, or
when I was
in
at St.
summer
Martin's,
interns, or
summer internships. So in Atlanta, I worked at a law firm that focused on asbestos litigation. So very as a summer job, and I learned that if you stay after 6, you get time and a half. So I would stay and organize like the pencil cabinets. I would do all of this stuff. And with all the money I saved, when I got my Oscar internship, I went to Neiman Marcus Atlanta and I bought a whole wardrobe with every penny I had. So I showed up to Oscar looking like a character out of Brideshead Revisited, like in a full like 3-piece linen suit. And it was a hit. He liked it. So I got to be his kind of intern, and I'd stand next to him and hand him pins. And it was magic because this was American fashion. Like, Andre was a stylist at the time, and Brooke Astor's calling on the phone, and the whole thing's just like glamour. And then shortly after, Tom Ford opened his menswear collection in London, so I started going there after school to help out. So I did both twice, essentially.
Oscar was such a beloved character in the fashion world. Did he give you any mentorship or advice, or when you think of Oscar now, what do you think about?
I think about a man who knew extremely well the women who wore his clothes. And I think that was my takeaway, and I learned so much by osmosis.
And I guess I should ask the same question about Tom, who was obviously...
A fastidious attention to detail, where every button is researched with 100 pages of research, and nothing is left to chance.
He would have done well in the asbestos law firm, too. He would have got in there.
The pencil cabinet would have been fabulous.
He would not have to touch that. One last question about schooling, because there's obviously a lot of students here today. What's something you wish someone had told you when you were in school or when you were graduating? When you look back on your student days? Or they told you everything perfectly?
No, I'm thinking. I want a good answer for the students. That's time you're never going to get again. So be a weirdo. You know, you're going to go into a career where you have to make clothes that sell. Your life will be about sell-throughs and margins. Use this opportunity to do something crazy where you just play.
Good advice.
Thank you so much.
You got applause. So we graduated college, you come back to New York.
Yep.
And you've launched your own namesake line, West Gordon.
Yes, that sounds much more glamorous than the reality.
So tell me the reality.
Was a live-work space in the financial district before the financial district was sexy. I had
Is
an
it sexy now?
I mean, it's like ish.
Sexier.
Sexier than it was.
Yeah.
I had an inflatable mattress in the corner of the room that I would deflate in the morning before the interns arrived. And I created a small capsule collection that I showed in a hotel room. Someone here is wearing a Wes Gordon dress. Oh, and you have a jacket on. I love that.
From that
And-
era?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I sold them in a hotel room, piece by piece, holding up hangers. And it was a terrible blizzard, I remember. And we ordered hot chocolate, and the hot chocolate bill was the largest expense of the whole season. Almost put us out of business. And I sold enough that season to be able to do it again. I sold enough the next season to be able to do it again. I worked with some amazing people. I found some great friends and family investors. And I was able to do this for 8 years. So I really learned a lot about every aspect of the business, from production to sales to design to PR. And in so many ways, I credit that 360 immersive experience with my ability to be the creative director that I am now.
It obviously worked out. You did it for 8 years, and you got this great job, which we're going to talk
And
about.
8 years that are like dog years. Like fashion careers, you have to measure as like dog years, I think. So really, that's 56 years. It's very stressful.
Would you encourage a young designer to have 56 dog years of knitting new designer education?
It's really hard for me to encourage young designers to do anything specific because there's no one right path. If you want to be a lawyer, you know what your path is. You do this, you go to law school, you study, you take the bar, you work at the firm. For fashion, it's very different. There's no one right path. So you can't be hard on yourself if you're zigging and zagging because you're finding your way. So what was my way might not be your way. So it's hard for me to say this is what you should do other than follow your heart and don't be afraid to make mistakes and make wrong turns once in a while.
Like the hot chocolate, that was...
Like the hot chocolate.
What was the wildest part of being 22 and running a label? A moment you thought, well, this is nuts.
I remember doing my first show was magical. But starting a brand, so the metaphor I use
Remind
is,
me, where was your first show? I think I was at your...
it was at the Tunnel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Which is a nightclub that's since been closed by the city of New York.
It's starting your own line is a bit like building a house from an empty lot. You're making every decision for the first time. What your label looks like, what your font looks like. It's an existential crisis every minute of every day. And I'll compare that in a minute to working at Herrera, where there's some parameters in place and it's different. But that for me was exciting and invigorating, but also very overwhelming because it's like, who am I as a font? Like, am I a serif? Like, and am I off-white hang tags? Am I ivory hang tags? These are important things that you have to answer, and there's no formula in place.
This is actually a great exercise for us all to conduct. Are we Georgia New?
100%.
Are we
100%.
Courier?
Everyone should go home tonight and identify
And
themselves
ask
as a font.
yourself, what font are you? What was the real pinch me moment? The first pinch me moment for Wes Gordon, the brand?
2. I can give you a cute one and like a real one. The cute one would be the first time, I remember I was on Fifth Avenue, that I saw a stranger, a total stranger, 0 degrees of separation, wearing a piece that I designed. That was very cool.
Did you say something, or did you?
I think I did. I followed her down and said hi. So I made your coat. She's like, okay. And the other would be Anne Hathaway. She wore a dress for Interstellar, her premiere. So that was like, so those are kind of a high and a low one. But
Those are both high. Are those the cute
both
ones?
high.
Or those
I mean,
the...
No, the first one was the cute one.
Oh, right, okay, got it.
Because when you start, you kind of know, and we talked about this today with the students, you know the life cycle of every piece you make. You know it's going to your mom's friend or your aunt or this person that you met. But when it starts becoming like scaling a little bit and strangers are going into a store where they can choose from hundreds of pieces and they choose the piece you made and pay for it and wear it and then wear it out into the world and you see them, that's the coolest. That is the culmination of all the hard work.
Congratulations. I hope that lady
you.
still wears that coat. Let's talk a little bit now about Karlie Herrera. You are now the creative director of Karlie Herrera, a job you've had for 8 or 9 years?
8 years as creative director, and then I spent 1 year consulting for Mrs. Herrera.
Were you, obviously, I'm sure you were aware of the brand before you started there,
course.
but what were your first memories?
Listen, I grew up in the U.S. loving fashion, and America has a terrible track record of are legacy fashion houses lasting beyond their founder. You think of Bill Blass, Jeffrey Bean, Halston. You know, it's Oscar and Carolina Herrera. That's what we have now. So I was in love and enamored by both of them and was very aware of Mrs. Herrera. She founded the house in 1981. And through grunge, through, you know, when elegance was anything but cool, she stood by who she was. She never wavered. And she built an incredible business.
Did you meet her before you started working together?
One time at a party, I was introduced to her, and I remember it. She forgot it 5 seconds later, I'm sure. But it stuck with me forever. And then the next time I met her was after I'd been interviewing. My final interview was with her. So I went up to her office, which Karlie's been to her office. It's in the corner of the floor. And she closed the door, and I was like, I have terrible social anxiety. Like, this is hard for me. So to be in a room with her with a door closed, I was like, oh my God. And she sat down, and we spent 30 seconds talking about the job, and 45 minutes talking about TV shows we're watching, our dogs, restaurants we like, flowers, books. And I think it's a beautiful metaphor for Herrera and how she approaches life and design, that it's much more than a dress.
Do you want to know my crazy Carolina Herrera story?
Yeah, I would love to.
Once I went over there for dinner, and someone brought a friend who I didn't know. And Carolina Herrera used to entertain like on a level, like very old school New York,
Still.
super polished.
Still, I mean, it's white glove service. The staff lines up at the door when you enter the house. It's like very grand.
And the friend of a friend who I had never met before, between courses there's a finger bowl, which I had really never seen, but I was so intimidated I didn't do anything until I saw someone else do it. And they drank out of the finger bowl. And I thought it was incredible. I was so relieved. I was like, woo, it wasn't me. And I was watching her, like, how is she gonna react? And she burst into tears, and she thought it was, I appreciated in that moment that she lived on a level that was so grand and so polished, but still understood the humor in life. And I thought that was so,
She's chic. I think, listen.
Lucky it wasn't
people
me that did the finger bowl,
confuse good taste
though.
and chic all the time. Good taste is boring. Good taste is just being afraid of making a mistake. But being chic is a mixture of wit and spice and fun and laughter and style. And she's very chic.
Amen.
Yeah. Oh. Two claps. You've done 2 claps, Derek.
A lot of applause for you. So we talked about auditioning for the, what do you call it, trying out, auditioning?
Well, it was an audition that I didn't realize was an audition.
'Cause
So
you've
I was
been
consulting.
Right, tell me more.
Consulting's a beautiful thing because you can give an idea, and if it's a great idea, you kind of internally get some credit. If it's a terrible idea, like externally, no one knows it was your idea. But I really enjoyed it, and we got to know each other and love each other well. And then at the end of the year, she felt comfortable with me, and she called me into her office to say she was retiring. She was a great-grandmother. She was done with the grind, and asked me if I would take her spot. And she came out, took her final bow, and I presented her with red roses.
That
And
was at MoMA, right?
At MoMA,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the last day she came to the office. That was 8 years ago. And I came the next day as creative director.
How did you find out that you got the gig? Obviously, you knew
from
before
her.
that show. But
Yeah,
she
from
called
her.
you or she told you?
She called me into her office to talk about it. Yeah.
What a lady.
What a lady. And you know what? Really, what a lady, because for 40 years, her identity was based around this house. That's still her name. So to walk away and trust someone else with that, when there are a lot of people in the world who think the dresses I make were designed by her. So that's a big leap of faith for her, and trust that she's putting in me that, you know, that I'm not going to ruin her legacy or embarrass her. I don't know that I would have that strength. A lot of designers have tried to do it, and they end up coming back because they can't stay away. And she's really been remarkably strong. We have a great relationship. We do brunch once a month or twice a month. And she's an amazing woman.
That's sort of my next question. So after the day after that show, she hasn't come back. She's not involved in day to day.
Nope.
Does she give you notes, any words of wisdom?
The first time she sees a show is when it walks down the runway.
And is that a relief, or is that a...
No, so we have a TV backstage, and I can see people, and I can see what's happening, I can see the models, but inevitably I end up just looking at her face. Because no matter what, no matter how many years I work there, no matter how secure I am in my job or how comfortable I feel, I still want to make her happy because it's her legacy that I'm the caretaker of right now.
I love the motto you introduced when you took the job. It was Carolina Herrera is synonymous with color. Was that a thoughtful strategy? Was that something you thought through before you got there? Did that something that came to you on that first day?
So when you go into a house, a heritage house as a young designer, you have to understand what the house was, what the house is, and what it could be, what it should be, what it will be. And I knew what it was, and it has this amazing history of Mrs. Herrera. I knew what it is in that moment, but when it was coming up with what it should be, the inspiration struck me in the form of her Warhol portrait, which I do. Have you seen her Warhol portrait? And those beautiful colors, and I thought, this is Herrera. This is this fabulous Venezuelan woman who came to New York, invented uptown, downtown glamour, and these should be our colors. This should be our palette. We're not a house of dusty, sad colors. I immediately changed the brand colors from chocolate brown and gray to pink and red, and put a ban on anything sad. So when we do yellow, it's taxi cab yellow. When we do pink, it's flamingo pink. There's an energy. I like to say that the Herrera woman is wearing head-to-toe orange or hot pink when everyone else on the sidewalk is in oatmeal or beige.
9 years in, what's still surprising about working there? How do you balance honoring the brand's DNA while still making sure your own voice is present?
I was asked that question earlier, and I feel very lucky to work at a place that's very in line with who I am as a designer. I think it would be really challenging to be a creative working somewhere that was different from your own taste and ideas. I don't have to look at something and say, I like this, but I think this one's better for Herrera. I now know after 8 years that my gut instinct is the right decision for Herrera. So kind of at some point, my taste and the taste of Herrera kind of have fused and become one. What's still surprising about the job is that every year I get to do 6 collections, and I say get to do because I feel so lucky, ranging from 70 styles to 220 styles. So at any point in time, I'm working on 3 seasons. I get to have the greatest job in the world, which is I get to dream up new things and watch them be made. And then I get to go meet amazing women and sell them to them. So I feel so lucky that I get to do that again and again and again.
Your last show was in Madrid.
Yes.
How was that?
That was
All local casting, local production. I was watching from the sidelines and impressed, but also
I think I invited you.
you did, but you can't do
Just
them all.
to be clear, I didn't know if that was passive aggressive. I invited you.
You know that I'm aggressive. It wouldn't have been. How was the show in Madrid?
It was fabulous. We've done 3 destination shows. So we've done Mexico City, Rio, and Madrid.
Rio was
great. It rained a little bit.
Yeah. There was a torrential downpour.
The torrential downpour. We had a shaman who did not do his job properly. But it's fashion. Great fashion's about storytelling. And when you can go to another city and bring people with you and tell this amazing story, that's so cool, and your story gets so much better. So we've been doing these destination shows. The most recent one was in September in Madrid.
September 18th, if I remember correctly.
September 18th, yeah.
I got the invitation. Let's talk a little bit about your day-to-day as a designer. What's the first hour of your day like in the studio? What's a small peek into the Wes Gordon at Carolina Herrera day?
Well, I'll start earlier. I wake up at 6 and I take my dog for a walk. Then I wake up both my kids because my time in the morning with them is precious. So I see them off to school. Then I'm at the office by 9. And as I said, I'm working on 3 seasons at any point in time. And I also insist on sitting in all of our production fittings. So after we make our samples, we do production. But I like to make sure that the production looks just as good as the sample. So I sit in those. So I usually have 2 fittings a day. I have meetings about fabric swatches. We're opening a lot of new stores right now. So currently a lot of my time is spent with architects and designers, which is so fun.
Have you announced, do I know where the next stores are?
We just opened one last week in Houston.
I knew that.
A new one in Dallas, La Jolla, Miami Design District. So come visit.
How about you, Karlie?
So it's been really fun. It's fun. It's every day's an adventure and totally different.
What's one thing you obsess over in fittings that you wish more people obsessed over?
Fit.
You've dressed so many incredible women. Do you approach dressing a celebrity different than runway collections?
Yes. You know, like let's say take the Met Gala, for example. And Karlie was my date to the Met once. It's a beautiful collaboration. It really is, you're designing something together. And that's so unique in my job because usually we're designing for kind of an abstract client that we don't really know who it is. But when you're doing a one-off for the Met, you're working together with someone, you're texting ideas back and forth, and it's really fun. It's a fun change of your normal routine.
Will you tell everyone how the night at the Met Gala when Karlie was your date ended?
Oh, yeah, that was with the scissors?
Yes.
Yeah. So after the Met, you know, everyone at the Met wears a big train. It's like the bigger your train, the better your dress. So like the train went all the way across the stage. And Karlie works it because she's Karlie and she looks amazing. But after the Met is an after party at various different clubs. And the train just was not helping her have fun. So I went to the hostess stand and got some very dull scissors. And I got on my hands and knees and I cut off about 15 yards of red silk file train. And it became a mini dress. And it was, I think the New York Times took a picture of it and it became like a thing.
I have video. I have video of the, what did we do with the skirt? Did you take that
I think
home?
someone picked it up the next day and we reattached it for her. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We fixed it.
Yeah, we fixed it.
Fashion
I
emergency.
know how to cut it so it's fixable.
Even with some dull hostess scissors.
Dull hostess scissors.
What a
boom, boom,
guy.
boom.
Apart from Karlie, is there any celebrity fitting stories you can tell us on stage? After Karlie, you took Shakira.
Took Shakira.
After Shakira was
Well, I
Anne.
had to take Shakira because my 2-year-old son at the time, his only song he would sing was Waka Waka. So this was huge in our house that Shakira was my date. And then this year was Anne Hathaway, who ended up looking so chic in a white Herrera shirt with an embroidered pencil skirt. But that's an interesting one because until 1 a.m, that embroidered pencil skirt was a gown. So we did a last-minute pivot, and sometimes great ideas happen last minute, and she looked fabulous.
What's your all-time favorite Carolina Herrera look?
This is going to sound corny, but it's true. I think when most people close their eyes and think of Herrera, you think of Mrs. Herrera in the perfect white shirt with the black ball skirt. And every season I try to do new iterations and adaptations of the white cotton shirt. So I think there's no house that does a white cotton shirt like Herrera does a white cotton shirt. So I would have to say that.
Let's talk a little bit about business. What's a fashion myth you'd love to debunk?
A fashion myth I'd love to debunk. Okay, this is a good one for, are the students upstairs? Are those the students? Oh, back.
Oh, look.
Hello. Everyone has this idea of fashion as Devil Wears Prada because it's fun and it's sexy and we like to think that everyone's catty and bitchy and like it's like that. In reality, it's a community, it's a family of like-minded people who share similar passions, who work so hard, who are in it together, and there's a real feeling of camaraderie and team spirit. And you see it with events like the CFDA, you see it whenever there's a gathering of people together, which doesn't happen enough, but you see it with the 3 of us being here right now. The world's big enough to support a lot of different designers. There are enough women to buy enough products. It's not this game of nemesis and arch rivalries and being mean to assistants. It's people who are rolling up their sleeves and working so hard to try to make the impossible possible, and we're all in it together. So it's really, I don't think fashion gets enough respect for being a beautiful family, a beautiful community, and I wish people realized that a little bit more.
I think yeah. I always feel like the mean fashion is very 90s. Like
It's fun, I get it. It makes a good movie, it's fun, and people like to think that fashion's like snobby. But it's a hard business, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And as you guys will learn as you go out into your careers, it's a tough, tough business. And you'll be in it with other people trying to do the same thing, and lean on each other, talk to each other, go to each other for support, because you're fighting the same fights and you can help one another a lot.
What is something about being a creative director that no one warned you about?
Something about being a creative director that no one warned me about. Well, I guess it's a little interesting. Coming from doing your own collection where the buck stops with you, where you can do whatever you want. You can change a font, you can do anything, to working for a very big company, things are a little different. So it's your first taste of bureaucracy a little bit. And it's amazing. I've learned so much in that process, and I've become a smarter business person working that way. But it's humbling the first time you realize that you don't have total autonomy in making this decision about this one thing, but that rather there'll be other people that will weigh in. And it makes you stronger and better for it, and the outcome is stronger and better. But I think people expect this very kind of diva behavior where you're kind of, barking orders and everything is getting done, but really, these are businesses. These are businesses these are publicly traded businesses. These are businesses owned by private equity companies. This is not just fun and games. I mean, these are real companies with margin expectations and profit expectations. So you're a business person without even realizing that it's happening. And you have a fiduciary responsibility to do well by the brand. And so that's something that is very different than, being in the garment district making 8 jackets a season and trying to figure out how to build a collection.
That's the advice I always give young design students, is that it's a business.
It's a business.
And maybe that asbestos law firm was good training.
I got a great wardrobe. I still have some of it.
We're wrapping up now. So what's the best piece of advice you got and the worst piece of advice?
That I received or that I would give?
That you received. And don't give it if it's bad advice.
The best piece of advice would be, I said this earlier to a group of kids, and this is really hard to do, but if it's at all possible, that you can avoid wasting decades or years of your lives and your careers battling an imposter syndrome, feeling like, you somehow are a lesser designer, or something about your style is different, or you're younger, so maybe you don't know, and just get past that and have that confidence from the beginning. That's the dream. I wish I was able to do that. It's only now as I'm older that I'm finally getting a little more comfortable with that. But that's an ongoing battle, and the best advice you could get is to believe in yourself, totally, wholly, fully, and stand by your ideas, because at the end of the day, your ideas should be uniquely your own ideas.
That's great. That's the good advice or the bad advice?
That's a good advice. Right. That was good. That was good advice.
Indeed. Last question. We're at time. We're on time, everyone. Advice. Well, we want the bad advice. Yeah.
Okay,
what was the worst piece of advice you ever got?
When you start off, everyone has very well-intended advice for you. And it's very easy to listen to a lot of different people. And I would say the biggest mistake I made after spending time at Oscar and Tom Ford was thinking that a collection had to look a certain way. It had to have ball gowns, it had to have cocktail dresses, it had to have day wear, it had to have denim, it had to have fur, it had to have outerwear. And that's just not the case for a young designer. Rather, you need to pick one hero product that you're going to make it better than anyone else, and you're going to grow your business from that success. And that will lead to your next product, and that will lead to your next product. Don't do things the way that they've been done. This is a whole new era. It's up to you guys to define it. You have tools for storytelling that never existed before. You have ways and opportunities to change the game. So trying to adhere to the way that we've always done things is not going to get you anywhere. You're going to have to kind of reinvent how you do it.
Amen.
Yeah. This is so fun. I love this. This is great.
We have some questions from the audience. I think they were submitted.
We're
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you, this is the last one from me, and then we'll get to the audience question.
Okay.
What excites you now? Where are you looking for inspiration as you think about planning the next 3 collections? Where are your muses? Where is your inspo? What's making you excited?
I met with a student today, and I'm going to badly butcher what she said. The name of her collection had something to do with beauty in an uncertain world. And I really loved it. And I really believe in that. And I think you all should lead a beauty revolution. I think there's nothing more important than beauty. There's so much we can't control. The world's so scary every time you look at the news. But you all have the incredible fortune and privilege to be able to dream up something and watch it come to life. And I think with that comes the responsibility to try to bring some beauty and joy to the world. Try to make sure it's something that needs to exist. Try to make sure it's something that will elevate humanity in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just by the color. You know, little details can go a long way. So that makes me excited. That makes me excited, that idea that maybe beauty will be taken seriously because it's the least frivolous thing imaginable. It's what makes people people. That simple act of putting flowers on your kitchen table, of putting a little effort into getting ready in the morning. These are all things that celebrate our humanity, and whether it's out of self-respect or respect for others, make the world a better place. So I encourage all of you young students, and beauty is subjective, and that's how we have different aesthetics. So go out there with your own idea of what is beautiful, but fight for beauty, and fight for the things you make to be beautiful, and don't let anyone tell you that that's silly or an eye roll or not important.
Do we have time for some really rapid fire questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready, really rapid fire. First thing that comes to mind. No pontificating. First thing that comes to mind. Ready?
Are you saying I'm pontificating?
You're being very pontificacious.
I'm sorry.
It's been great.
I'm not sure that's a
We're
word.
getting lots of applauses. Current state of mind.
Relief, because I was very scared about doing this tonight.
Favorite color.
Blue.
Long or short.
Long or short?
Yeah.
What?
How you feeling?
Long.
Heels or flats?
Heels.
Morning or night?
Night.
Body or volume?
Body or?
Volume. Bodycon or volume? You like a big skirt. Just lean into it.
Volume.
Text or call?
Text.
I don't like a
never a
surprise
voice
call.
memo.
Oh my God. All right. Do you have a motto?
Do I have a motto? This too shall pass.
Dream dinner guest.
Dream dinner guest. Derek Glassberg and Karlie Kloss.
Most stylish person you ever met, and it's the same answer as well.
Answer.
No. Most stylish person you ever met.
Lee Radziwill.
Most regrettable outfit from your youth. The suspenders.
There was a lot. No, the suspenders were great. There was a whole Abercrombie chapter, though, that was like questionable. Yeah.
Same. Okay. Biggest extravagance.
Biggest extravagance? Furniture.
One trend you'd put in fashion jail forever.
A trend that should go to fashion jail forever?
When you repeat the question, you're buying time to pontificate.
Just not caring.
Blasé. Got it. Favorite flower.
Favorite flower? Peony.
Favorite scent.
Frangipani.
Crocs. Would you ever?
Yeah. I mean, I would like, on the weekend, like in the farm, I would do that.
If you had any special powers, what would they be?
Special powers?
Yeah.
Flying?
This morning it would have been teleportation, judging by
Yeah.
our chat. If you weren't a designer, what would you do?
I would be some sort of designer. Maybe it wouldn't be clothes, but it would be something else. Maybe it'd be interiors, or maybe it would be product. But the act of creating is something that I love.
Who's the first person you think of when I say muse?
Carolina Herrera.
Most used app on your phone?
Uber.
The 3 most important things on your desk are?
A picture of my kids. a bowl of safety pins, and my phone charger.
Favorite trend?
Favorite trend?
Yeah.
A return to getting dressed up.
Trend you hate the most?
Trend I hate the most?
Yeah.
Um,
Ugly, sloppy. We got it.
Trend I hate the most. I'm gonna go back to that same idea of just like not caring, being too cool to exert any effort. I don't like that. I think that's exert the effort. You know, it doesn't have to be fancy, but try, like out of respect for other people.
Last question. Last question. What's the most Carolina Herrera thing about your personal life?
About my personal life, my love of flowers. We always have flowers around the house, just like Mrs. Herrera.
Look how nice these flowers look. Whoever
Beautiful.
organized that. Congratulations. St. Louis Fashion Fund for whoever did this. All right, so we have a couple questions from the audience. I think we're on time. No one's giving me a dirty look over here yet. Okay, fine. How much of a role does couture still play in the world of fashion, or how has ready-to-wear and fast fashion dictated a new approach? Stephanie A. from Illinois is asking.
Hi, Stephanie. The question was, how much of a role does couture play in fashion? Fashion, at its most magical, is about storytelling and dreaming. One of the things I fell in love with about fashion, and this was in the early days of the internet, so like you'd have to it would make that dial-up sound, but on the Dior website, they would play the John Galliano couture shows, and you'd have to wait for them to load. And I remember watching them thinking they were magic, and that's part of the reason I wanted to go to St. Martin's, was because he did. So just in terms of telling a story and making you dream and making you fall in love with the power of what a human can make, couture is so important. From a business, more pragmatic point of view, couture is so important to supporting the fragrance businesses, the cosmetic businesses, the accessory businesses. It's important. And as old-fashioned as it is, this idea of men and women sitting there hand-sewing garments, it's also so modern and so cool and so necessary in this day and age that we live in.
Michael M. from Queens, New York is asking, does AI factor into how you work now? And in terms of design, do you see AI as a friend or foe?
So AI is only as good as the inputs it's given. We all have to remember that. And we use AI casually around the office. We'll use it if I need to mock up a rough board of what the season will look like, and there's going to be a magnolia print, and there's going to be a print of cactuses, and there's going to be a print of sailboats. We'll do really fast renders on AI for those. But then we go back in and do them properly. We'll do them after we've sold the concept, then we'll go in and we'll do them hand-painted, and we'll do them. So we use it as a shortcut for process, but it never replaces the process itself. And I can only speak from my own experience. I don't know how other people are using it. I know for textile mills, for example, when we weave these incredibly complicated jacquards, the programming time at the mills has gone down from several days to minutes, thanks to AI. So that's an incredible innovation that hasn't changed since the 15th century. Suddenly now the process is totally different. So I think it's a friend. I think anything can be a friend. I think it's just how you use it.
Tanya B. from St. Louis asks, how much do you rely on the past to inform the future? And is there a fashion period that inspires you the most?
I look at the past all the time. I look at past collections. I start my collection by looking at the last collection and looking to see if there were ideas that I really loved that I wish I'd pushed further, things I didn't love as much that I want to steer clear of. So I'm looking self-reflecting on my own work. I'm looking back at amazing pictures of Carolina Herrera from the 70s and 80s and 90s. I'm always looking back, and I'm always thinking, though, how to take that idea from the past and bring it forward. So I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of to look back and do research.
All right, it's 6:01. We did it. This was great. That's it.
So fun.
I think Susan's going to invite us back. Susan Sherman from the.
We have to bring Karlie with us.
Poor Carlie thought she was just coming.
Hi, everybody. I am Becky Damian. I am the Executive Director of the St. Louis Fashion Fund. And Derek and Wes, thank you so much for that special conversation. We appreciate you being here. How about another round of applause for them? Thank you. So if having a day in St. Louis named after you isn't enough, we have another special announcement before we end the program today. On behalf of the Fashion Fund, I'd like to present our highest award for fashion excellence, creatively coined the St. Louis Fashion Fund Award, and I would love to present this to Wes Gordon. The award is a sculpture of a button flower designed by the artist Donald Sultan and produced right here in St. Louis by Lococo Fine Arts. We present it annually to an individual who has influenced fashion on a global scale. There is no one more deserving of this award than tonight's Speaking of Fashion guest, Wes Gordon, who epitomizes the spirit of this recognition. You're welcome. Congratulations. Thank you, Carlie.
Thank you.
Don't forget this. Wes, how are you going to get this home?
Can we also give a huge round
Huge
of applause for Derek Ladd?
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek. And thank you all for attending 2025 Speaking of Fashion series. We appreciate everyone's continued support for our vibrant and innovative fashion industry right here in St. Louis that continues to grow every day. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.